the Para Cave podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leisure Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Para Cave podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Para Cave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Para Cave podcast. Troy Warner here, and it has been a big couple of days in NRL land as the first round of the 2025 NRL draw was released yesterday, Sunday morning, and also today, earlier on today, the Ampol 2025 Ampol State of Origin series was also released. The dates for those games in both the men's and the women's games of that series between New South Wales and Australia. So some very exciting times ahead for rugby league fans, and the full NRL draw will be released on Thursday the 21st of November at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So cannot wait for that one to be released with the full draw. I will do a podcast about the Eels draw later on that week after I get a chance to go through the draw and also work commitments as well. So look, I will definitely be doing a Eels related draw for that one during the week as well, so stay tuned for that one. But let's just go back. Let's start off with the 2025 Ampol State of Origin series. Now, we all know, we all love State of Origin. It is a great time of year, and it is great games played between, obviously, New South Wales and Queensland. And look, let's start off with the women's series. Now, Queensland have won the last two State of Origin series. They're going for their third straight win. So they kick off the State of Origin series on the 1st of May up at Suncorp Stadium on Thursday. Now, that is the lead-in day for Magic Round, which will commence on the 2nd of May, which will be confirmed on Thursday. But the State of Origin game number one for the Ampol Women's State of Origin series, game number one will be at Suncorp Stadium, which it was last season. Game number two will be at Allianz Stadium on Thursday the 15th of May, and game three will be on Thursday the 29th of May, and 2 weeks later at McDonald Jones Stadium. Now, look, this is going to be looking like a great series. New South Wales, they want to get this win next season, but it is a long time between now and next season, so anything can happen. But look, it was great to see that it was a massive success this year of the three games and the three Origin Series games for the women's game. So it was great that they have kept that, and look, that's going to stay forever now, and those three dates are that one. So if you're a massive rugby league fan, and if you are a massive women's rugby league fan, pencil those dates in for the State of Origin series. Now, also to the under-19s State of Origin games, they will be played on the Thursday, the June 19th, now between obviously New South Wales and Queensland, and that will be played at the Sunshine Coast Stadium up there in Queensland. So look, there were some great fixtures played this year at Leichhardt Oval. It was this year up in Queensland, Thursday, June the 19th. So that is just after the day after State of Origin for the men, game number 2. Now, getting to the men's series. Now, New South Wales are the reigning champions of the State of Origin series, so that is great to see. But again, look, a lot can happen between now and game number 1. And game number 1 will be played at Suncorp Stadium Wednesday the 28th of May. So the Queenslanders will have an early advantage, you'd like to think, of playing at home. And they will, more often than not, whoever wins that first game of the series goes on to win the series. So big advantage there for Queensland, you'd have to say, getting that game number 1 there. Game number 2 will be played at Optus Stadium in Perth. The last time that they played in Perth was a few years ago now, 2018-19 I think it could have been. Correct me if I am wrong, but next season, 2025, it will be played at Optus Stadium, Wednesday the 18th of June, and then game number 3, where hopefully it will be a decider. Look, being a New South Wales fan, obviously, hopefully it'll be 2-0 New South Wales going into the third game for a clean sweep for New South Wales. It'll be game number 3, which will be on Wednesday the 9th of July at Accor Stadium. So this year we remember game number 1 was in Sydney. And so next year, game number 3 will be in Sydney. So, look, as I said before, could be a massive advantage for Queensland playing that game number 1 up there, as we have seen most of the series that have been played. The winner of game number 1 goes on to win the series. So a massive advantage there, you'd like to think, for Queensland. Although New South Wales, they do have a good record at Optus Stadium. I do believe they have won the 1 or 2 games that have been played there in Origin, and pretty convincingly as well. And then that could be an advantage for them going into game number 3. But as I said, long time before anything can happen in rugby league between then and now, especially selections and especially that halfback position as well. So look, they are the dates, but pencil those ones in. Tickets for those go on sale soon. So they will be on, so game number 2 at Optus Stadium. Tickets go on sale to the general public this Friday, the 22nd of November, at 1 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time, which is 4 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So just head to nrl.com/tickets for that one for game number 2. And then the other games will be on sale as well. So check that one out. Just head to nrl.com/tickets for all the information there. Look, that is the State of Origin series for 2025, which has come out today. Now, the 2025 draw, as I said, will be out on Thursday, the 21st of November at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. But round 1 has been released. And look, there's some juicy matchups in this one. I really like the look of this one. Obviously, the first 2 games of the round, I guess it is known as round 1. I guess some people call it round 0. Those games are being played in Las Vegas. We already know the 4 teams that are going over there: the Canberra Raiders, the New Zealand Warriors, the Penrith Panthers, and the Cronulla Sharks. So they are the 4 teams going over there to Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. And look, some cracking games there. Canberra versus the Warriors. James Fisher-Harris, he is the new Warriors. I'm going to go out on a limb here, an early limb, and call him the captain of that side next year. He goes up against his Kiwi teammate, Joseph Tarpany. That will be a cracking game over there. The Raiders, they might get a lot of support over there with the LA Raiders over there in the NFL, and the Warriors as well. I'm not too sure how much New Zealand support is over there in the USA, but I dare say they will have a strong contingent of followers over there. The second game, or the next NRL game that will be played in Las Vegas, is the Sharks versus the premiers of 2024, the four-time premiers, the Penrith Panthers. So these two teams played in the prelim final of 2024. Look, this is going to be an interesting one as well. There has been a few off-season surgeries that have happened. Nathan Cleary, Blaze Talangi, and also Dylan Edwards as well. We'll just have to wait closer to time to see if they will be fit for round one. I dare say that they will be doing everything they possibly can to be fit for round number one. Nico Hines for the Sharks as well. He will be wanting to have a massive season as well. But look, still a fair way away. March the 2nd, 3:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. 8:30 p.m. local time over there in Las Vegas. So, look, some cracking games there in Las Vegas, and look, I think it's only going to get bigger and better over there. They have already included another 2 games as well. The Gillaroos taking on the Lionesses of England in a women's international game, and also I think it is Warrington versus Wigan as well. 2 Super League teams playing over there as well. So look, that's going to be a massive crowd over there, and as I said, it's only going to get bigger and better. Back home on Australian shores, the weekend after that one, it all kicks off on Thursday, March the 6th. Roosters and Broncos, 2 teams that played in Las Vegas last year. This will be the first Thursday night game of 2025. And look, new Brisbane coach Michael Maguire goes up against Trent Robinson, obviously. A lot of question marks will be asked about the Roosters, having lost a lot of talent at the end of this year. Jared Waerea-Hargreaves, Luke Keary, Joseph Manu and Joseph Suaalii, who is killing it in Australian rugby at the moment. He's played a couple of games there, man of the match performance in his debut game. But then a lot of questions will also be asked about the Broncos and how they will play under their new coach Michael Maguire as well. So look, the Broncos lost to the Roosters last year in Las Vegas, 20 points to 10. So they will be wanting to turn it around. Now, look, just before I go any further, none of the venues have been confirmed. They will be confirmed, obviously, when the draw is fully released on Thursday. There is a few issues about clubs nominating which grounds to play at, but look, that will more than likely be played at Allianz Stadium. So when I'm going through these games, I will say where they will be played, or where I think they will be played anyway, but will be confirmed when the full draw comes out. Friday night, as we go back to 2 NRL games on a Friday night, it'll be the West Tigers taking on the Newcastle Knights. Now, news today that Terrell May has signed a 3-year deal with the West Tigers after granting a release from the Sydney Roosters. So another new signing for the Tigers, and obviously they've got Jerome Luai and Taruva from the Panthers, as well as Jack Bird and I think Royce Hunt as well. So they are getting a fair squad together there. Look, the Tigers, the poor old Tigers, they're 3-peat wooden spooners. They will definitely won't want to get the wooden spoon again in 2025. Tough assignment against the Newcastle Knights. Obviously, Kalen Ponga will be the leader of that side. They made the finals this season, only to be bundled out in week 1 by the Cowboys. So, look, that'll be an interesting game, that one. Look, they're all going to be interesting games, obviously, but just how will Jerome Luai go at the West Tigers. And look, I am assuming that one will be played at, I'm going to say, Leichhardt Oval. I'm going to say that one. The next game on Friday, March the 7th, the second game on the Friday night, as we will see throughout the season, is the Dolphins taking on the Rabbitohs. Now, this is part one, I guess you could say, of the Master versus the Apprentice in coaches. Christian Wolf has taken the reins at the Dolphins from Wayne Bennett, who is now at the South Sydney Rabbitohs. So obviously he's the master. Christian Wolf, it is his first full-time NRL head coaching job. He has coached Tonga in internationals and also has been an assistant coach at the Dolphins as well under Wayne Bennett, but now he takes the reins and he's the head coach of the Dolphins. So a great game. This will probably be at Suncorp Stadium, I would assume. There should be a massive crowd here with these two sides playing. The Rabbitohs, as we know, they've got supporters all over Australia, a great deal of support, and just with Wayne Bennett coming to town again up against his former club, I'm sure they will like to see them get beat, so the Dolphins fans will turn out in force. So I dare say that will be at Suncorp Stadium. And then we head to a Super Saturday, and back to 3 games on Super Saturday. 2 games on the Saturday, I should say. Usually there is 3, but due to the Las Vegas round, there's only 2. But it kicks off at 5:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, and it is the Dragons taking on the Bulldogs. So 2 arch rivals, and look, how good is that to see arch rivals, master coaches up against apprentice coaches. So look, this round 1 fixture card is looking really good in terms of getting the season off to a cracking start. The Dragons and the Bulldogs, well, the Bulldogs, they made the finals last year, so they would have a little bit more, I guess you could say, experience and wanting to get back into the finals again in 2024 after they made it 2025, I should say, after they made it in 2024, the first time since 2016 that they made the finals. Look, the Dragons, this will be an interesting one as well, because, I mean, they had that late season fade out, which they lost to the Sharks, Eels and Raiders in the last parts of the competition in 2024 to fail to make the finals. Coach Shane Flanagan will want to get back in there. They were in 8th spot, but they finished 11th. They have recruited reasonably pretty well. Clint Gutherson from the Eels, Val Holmes, Damien Cook, just to name 3 players there. So, look, my early thoughts are that Clint Gutherson will be the captain of the Dragons next season. We've seen him do the job at the Parramatta Eels. So, some very experienced players there for the Red V. The Dragons, the Bulldogs, they will come out in force. Now, look, I'm assuming this game will be played at Wollongong. I'm going to take a stab in the dark and play this one in Wollongong. And look, my thoughts before are the fact that the Dragons play better down at Wollongong. I don't know what it is than Cogra Oval. So I'm assuming this might be down in Wollongong at Wynn Stadium. We'll just have to wait and see where that one is. But I'm sure the Bulldogs army will get down there in numbers. The second game on the Saturday sees the Sea Eagles take on the Cowboys. Look, this game will probably be played at Brookvale Oval. And there was a game a couple of years ago at Brookvale Oval between these two sides. I think the Cowboys staged a miraculous comeback to win that game. But look, a couple of players in this game that played pretty awesome for Australia in the Pacific Championships just gone. Tom Trbojevic for Manly, he had a great campaign, and also Tom Dearden as well. He had a great campaign for the Australian side. So they will be the two leaders of this, their two respective sides going into this one. Now, both sides made the finals last year, and look, it'll be interesting to see how they can do it again in 2025. So, look, this could be a toss of the coin tip, but look, we'll just have to wait till March to go through those ones. But look, this on paper, this looks like a great game that's going to be played on that day. And the last game of round number one, the one game on the Sunday, 4:05 p.m, and it is between the Melbourne Storm and the Parramatta Eels. My team, the Parramatta Eels. So. And look, this one will be looking to be played, I'm assuming, down at Amy Park in Melbourne. So, last year's grand finalists, they will go into this game with a lot of confidence. Look, they haven't lost a round one game under Craig Bellamy, or since he took the helm in 2003. So, 22 games in a row in round one the Melbourne Storm have won. So the Eels, can they break that record? It is the Master versus the Apprentice again in this game, with obviously Craig Bellamy being the Master, Jason Riles, a new head coach in the NRL, taking the reins of the Parramatta Eels. New players at the Parramatta Eels as well. A bit of experience gone from their side. Clint Gutherson, Micah Sevo, RCG, Regan Campbell-Gillard. So, look, a lot of experience has gone, but there is a lot of unknown, I guess, about this Parramatta Eels side. As of talking in this podcast at the moment, there is no confirmation of whether Josh Addo-Carr will be at the Parramatta Eels. So by then, we will definitely know by then. Obviously, I'm assuming that will be happening in the next week or two. But also the inclusion of Zach Lomax as well. This looks like it could be a bit of a mystery side, I guess. Isaiah Iongi at the fullback position, taking over Clint Gutherson's position. A bit of unknown about him as well. We all know that he has got a lot of talent, but I'm not too sure how the Storm know too much about him as well. But the Storm, they will want to keep their record intact for Craig Bellamy, not losing those games in a row. The Eels, they will want to get off to a good start. They are traditionally slow starters in the competition. They don't tend to win round one games too often. And look, they will want to make the finals in 2025. The last time these two sides played in round one, it was a Golden Point game. Harry Grant scored the winning try. It was 2023. And I was at that game. Harry, you broke my heart in that game, scoring that try. But it was great dummy half play. So let's hope it is one of those sort of games again, going to Golden Point, I guess. And Parramatta getting the victory this time. But they'll be up against it, especially with that record. And the Gold Coast Titans, look, we'll just have to wait another week to see them in the competition. They have the bye in round number one. So an extra week for them in this competition. So, look, obviously I'm not going to do a tipping podcast at the moment because it's way too early to do that. And look, anything can happen in rugby league. But look, hey, look. Let's do the stupid thing, eh? Let's do the tipping now, eh? Look, if I was going to tip winners in this game, I would tip the Warriors, Panthers, Roosters, Tigers, Dolphins, Dragons, Manly, and I'll tip Parramatta as well, even though they will be up for it. But look, that's just ridiculous talk. Anyway, we'll do a tipping podcast later to that. But look, a cracking first round of the competition next season. And as I said, all will be revealed on Thursday in the official 2025 draw coming out from the NRL. So can't wait to see that one as well. So thank you very much for listening to this podcast. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the support that you have shown this podcast, even though there isn't much rugby league happening at the moment. So thank you very much for listening to the ones that I put out. As I put on the Instagram post, there is a few interviews to come out over the next few weeks. Chris Johns, Adam Blair and Richie Barnett as well. And during this time as well, I will be trying to do some interviews as well with some former players and hopefully some big guests as well that will probably, I guess, come out early next year, I guess, when I start back up on the podcast. If I get too excited, I might even release them anyway late this year, so who knows. But I'm planning on doing some interviews as well between now and next year as well that will definitely be out with some great guests as well. So thank you very much for the support during this time. I really appreciate it. And look, as I always say, the Paracave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See you next time.